I think we're streaming. Guess we'll see if anyone turns up. So far nothing. And it's Mr. Barry West is the first in the gate. Congratulations, Barry. You win absolutely nothing other than the honour of being the first. And Jose's here, 3x. Alright, we're picking up people. That's good. I just realised I've got to finish up that iPhone 6 success we did last night, the TriStar. I sort of was a bit naughty and I repaired it last night without actually getting the confirmation of or go ahead from the customer. I thought, yeah, you know, what's the worst? I'll fix their phone and they won't pay me, so yeah. Can't be that bad. So yeah, we'll go to the overhead. Looks like overhead's been bumped a little bit. How utterly normal. That'll suffice. Yeah, lighting sucks. How utterly normal. Okay, I've just got to get the board fixed up. And then after this, we'll get into that CD3215 issue that we've been plagued with the last, well, just too many times. And hopefully with the sequence set up, we might be able to have a chance of finding the fault rather than wandering around aimlessly in a dark forest, bumping into trees. First thing I have to do is actually learn how to disassemble an iPhone 6s. Hey, Octacostic, 10-minute text today. Andrew Hughes, Zoltan's here, Sotter's here. Hey, Warren. Yeah, what are you getting stuck on? Someone forgot to turn the camera on. Don't worry, it'll be back shortly. Any second. There you go. Okay, we got to... So this is the bit that I always hate about the TriStar fix, is that you get this annoying bump on the chassis. Now you pretty much can actually ignore that. It just feels bad, man. Feels bad. Let's see, it's got a surgical knife. Hey, Roy Gordon, Travis, Chris935. Wonder if we're going to get any crazy surges of unwanted people like we did last night. I ended up with something in the region of 17,000 views on that video, of which probably 18,000 were fake. I mean, we're talking Georgia voting numbers there. Okay, that might work. Yeah, that's good enough. Don't want to push it more than that. Yeah, it's true. I still got them. Though I'll show an artificial increase in advertising revenue, and then YouTube will go, wait a second, most of those were fake, and they will deduct the advertising revenue from me. So I'll have a momentary happy face and then it'll be a sad face. It's okay, it's not a bad thing really, it's more just amusing than anything else. Hey AJ. Hey, Ron Rogers from Union, Missouri. 39 Fahrenheit, that's funny, we've got 39 Celsius here today, thereabouts. I think I'd rather 39 Fahrenheit at this point, in all honesty. Okay, so we're going to put some Captain tape on there. It's not really the right thing because it has no EMI shielding. So the only thing that the Captain tape really does is just simply minor level of environmental protection, and not even great at that, because when you think about it, the frame that it all sits on is porous anyway, so it's pretty much no great purpose really. It's like, why do I even bother? Anyway. Got your glasses. My glasses. Yeah, what? Yeah, I have somewhere up there. Okay, we just cut this off. Hopefully don't do a bodgy job. We're going to do a bodgy job, that's inevitable, but hopefully not too bad of a bodgy job. I've seen Chris Long do this, and he just seems to get the outline perfect without even trying. It's the sort of skill that would probably result in him being tied to a chair and dipped in a river to see if he floats. Yeah, it's just not right. Baka baka. Didn't take that curve too well. You might be able to use metal tape, except the problem will be the underside is probably conductive, and you don't want that. If you look at the original stickers that are on this, they may have metallic threading through them. Yeah, there is a layer of mesh, but it's also insulated on the underside with a layer of plastic. So if you go and stick the usual ducting type tape, it will create a very interesting short circuit effect due to the lack of insulation. Electrical insulation, that is. Yep. It's not brilliant, but it's tolerable. Hey Ed, how's it going? Oh, Sicky's here. How's it going, Sicky? How long's it been since you've been here? A while, I think. Mr. Howell, Paul? Seems like everybody's turning up because it's late for me here. And I spent too much time coding and doing stuff. John? How do you pronounce that? Athanasio? Too difficult for me. I'm sorry, that's not fair. Yeah, it's like everybody should be able to pronounce names. Okay, just put down a... Oh no, we're out of MacBook toilet paper. Make some grunting noises and got a fresh roll. AJ, like I said, it's not really a proper substitute. It's a very bad substitute in all honesty, because it doesn't have any of the shielding properties that the other tape does have, and yeah, it's not the most naughty thing, but it's also not great. It would be better if it was an original sticker, but as it is, I found that removing them tends to destroy their capacity anyway. Okay, we're just going to take the vibrator out. It makes it easy for me to get the battery out. Same. OpenBoardData is just a database, a text database that we're creating that contains information about boards like voltages, diode modes, resistances, diagnostic information. I'll bring it up shortly. I'm just getting this phone fixed up first before I forget. That's not bad. 2016, a 4-year-old battery. That's pretty good. Warrant, yeah, I mean, I suppose you could probably do that 2-layer concept. You'd have to cut in slightly from where I have with the Captain tape and then put the metal tape over that, so the metal tape would at least still get contact with the ground. But that concept could work, but really the easier thing to do is just buy them from China, I guess. Hey, Keith McDermott. Yeah, buy it from China and hope that they're actually legit and they're not just plastic stickers. If they're just plastic stickers that you get from China, then they're no better than the Captain tape. Siki, if they're original pull tabs, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, if you just take out at least with the 6 and the 6S, and the plus variants, take out the vibrator and then, you can just pull it out, like straight out and low. And you get a feel for when it's going to go. If they're original, that shouldn't be a problem. If they are aftermarket ones though, as in someone's already replaced a battery, then it's pretty much, it's hell on earth. Because most of the time the aftermarket ones are not thick enough, the white silicon stuff, and so you can't get enough tension to draw it out before it snaps. So, which is what a lot of people have encountered. Okay, we're going to put the board back in first. Trying to think if I've forgotten anything. I don't think so. Certainly taking your time is the key. Yes, this is the board that wasn't charging, and we changed the TriStar on it. Thankfully it went without too many hiccups. I think it was more, we lost that one resistor that we had to put back on, but as I said, without too many hiccups. So I just wanted to get this out of the way, because it's one of those sort of jobs that you forget about until the customer turns up, and then it's just a mad dash to try and get it all reassembled, and you're apologizing to them, and they're getting cranky. And yeah, and Paul just lost that screw. You kidding me? Ah, it's still attached. Awesome. Thank you, magnets. Magnets save the day. Dum, 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 dum. Ach, nee, man. I mixed up things. Oh, well. This is probably the hardest screw to get back in. This is the odd hex one. It's difficult because you can't really tell when your driver is aligned. Okay, there we go. And so you spend a fair bit of time just spinning around going nowhere. Alright, so this is the one I was confused about. Now solved. These antenna assembly units up at the top corners of these iPhones. I don't know why they're so complicated. There's obviously a reason, but They certainly require quite a number of screws. I guess I should be thankful they don't use two-sided tape and ultra-fine like flex PCB straps and cables. Sort of stuff you see in other brands, cheaper brands. And as soon as you just try to move it, it just tears. Yep. Random tweezer droppings. Good thing that wasn't a crucial item I was working on. Hey Robin Flores. Oh, Max is here too. Hey Max. Hey Steve K. And Loctite on all the screws? Oh hell no. I do have Loctite. I have Loctite purple or something like that. It's a fairly light lock, but it works well, particularly for the pentalobes on the bottom. Black screen, please. What? Hey, Central Tech. Let's give it a good rub. There's nothing like yanking this pink one off and having it come off with that. And I forgot to do the little ones first. That's okay. As long as I don't touch the exposed white strap with my gloves, because it actually sticks really well to these gloves. Found out a few too many times. And Nelson, plasters off. Let's start routing these. Okay. Always fun and games getting those lined up. Have a bit of a slip and whoops. Okay, that's good. Almost there. Gives a chance for other people to catch up to for the main event. Especially since YouTube does not apparently do email notifications. Okay, this feels wrong. That screw feels like it's wrong. That screw feels like... It almost feels like it's a long screw, but I actually don't think it is. It doesn't want to thread in properly. Try that again. Yeah, it seems fine now. Just having a bad moment. Having a little tantrum. Okay, let's get this battery connector squished in. crush it down so hard that we snap the circuit board. Hey Gonzalo. See if this causes it to... Gonzalo, what sort of goodies? Well, that beats it, so that's good. Really depends on what you're saying, because a lot of the time I don't have any real spare time to, to test things or anything like that. So pretty flat out here. Okay. iMac stand. Oh, you messaged me about that. Yeah, I don't actually deal with those iMacs at all. Yeah, you messaged me about 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Yeah, I'm very sorry about that. I hadn't gotten back to you. That's exactly my point anyway. I don't actually have any of those machines. I don't encounter them, so that would be... I wouldn't be able to do anything with them. So you need to find someone who actually does do iMac repairs. I don't. But it's a good thing you remind me, so that way you've saved yourself posting things that I can't do anything with. Alright, time to get to the main event now. Did sell a few to Australia, okay. Better X this out. Of course, the other thing you've got to remember is that I am in a fairly, I wouldn't say remote location, but I am a long way from the rest of what most people consider to be Australia. I am in Australia, but I'm in the northeast. Not many people live up here, relatively speaking. Alright. So, last night, repeatedly, I've been pointed out to have a look at this, and I did. I took the time. I started messing around with a few things, and I've gone and I've put this into FlexBoard view, or rather OpenBoardData, and it already is actually uploaded to OpenBoardData. And we'll just hopefully have I got the right version coming up? V1161, yay! Alright, and we need the victim board, of which I cannot remember the number of yet. Multi-Gamer Club, yes, this is live. Or certainly is at the time of recording. Okay, so this is a 281 board. I'm just connecting up the OpenBoardData. Don't know why it's not automated on this one. Schematic. Okay, so we've got the 281 here, and I now have in this section here all the different steps I've got to take in order to test each of the 3215s. So it's just like I go along and I click on that, and it selects, and then I go to that step, and then that step, that step, that step, and so on and so forth. And we'll have to do that for all 4 of them. And then when we're done with that, we can continue on with more steps, and so on and so forth. There's a bit of a glitch there. I'll have to... Anyway, so the sequence is in there now, but I don't know if the sequence is actually correct. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I'm in the sticks. Hey, Yummy Steak, I just saw you there. Yummy Steak, you're gonna have to stop writing essays at the end of each video. Unless you like writing the essays, in which case you may continue writing essays. I'm just trying to save you time there. Okay. Let's go to the overhead. What's the bet? This gives us our 20 volts straight up. Yep, 20 volts straight up. Yeah. So we have to make this become faulty. And the way we do that is we just go along and okay, that one's gone to 20. We just have to keep doing this until it stops giving us the 20 volts. And it's usually one of these two that will cause it to give up. And naturally it's not giving up this time. Gotta be a little more persistent. Right, you want a heat for fault? Well, let's see if it happens, although we're kind of a borderline at this point now because we were at the point where it would start failing naturally. Yep, 20 volts still. Okay, now we're at 5. And 5 and booting. Okay. So the game is afoot. Hey, Vladim. Yeah, Byron, we're still on it. We're still on it because we actually kind of want to get an idea of what's going on. Wow, sound like flippin' Simpson. Simpson pastor than the priest dude. We're gathered here. Not lost it. Gathered. No, can't do it. Can't do it on demand. Okay, so the first one we want to check. Let's go for the all-in. There we go. Is okay. So non-CPU side, top right. Okay, we actually want to. We're more likely to find the fault over here. So what is this? This is U3100. So we'll start up there. Hit it with a hammer will cause the fault. Sounds good. Sounds good. Right. Now a lot of these are probably going to be... Yeah, we knew that was going to be whatever that value is. But I suppose the point is we're just trying to find the point where we all of a sudden do have a deviation from the expected behavior. So do I have... That's interesting. I don't seem to have my microscope or... not microscope, multimeter or power supply. And now we do. The heat wasn't over that area, right? The heat was on this side. So it's looking pretty damn disgusting. Let's hope the CPUs don't die while I do this. Now the other thing is U3100. I'm not rightly sure which port. I'm going to assume... Yeah, assuming. I'm going to assume it's this port 50/50. Okay, first thing we want to look for, 5 volts on the fuse. Well, we're kind of pretty much expecting that. Yep, 5196, making sure it's on the other side. Make sure we don't have a zombie fuse. We've been burned that way once in our lives. We don't want to do that again. Okay. C31081. crank this up a bit more, thank you. 3v3. What do we want on that? 1v8. 1794. 3106. That's over here. 1v8. 3104. 1v1. Yep. So you can see it's quite easy once we've got the sequences in to be able to go through and test these things. Could it be the port on the board? We did reflow that port, so it's possible, but it seems to be less likely. Okay, and we are now going to... okay, this is fun. So we want to test this voltage here, but it's under there, or here, so that's on the other side of the board. So when it looks like this, like a light blue dot, but there's no actual apparent nothing there, so we've got this capacitor and there's nothing showing, it's because it's a test pad on the other side. So we'll just flip that over. I don't know why I've still got that piece of paper there. And there it is. And it would be this test pad here. Okay, we've got 11 volts there. Now I'm not sure, I mean, when they say 26 volts, I'm really not sure. I think that 26 volts or 20 volts is for actually when it is doing the 20 volts through the port, because at that point it'll be boosting to be above the input. Hey Ashes, how's it going? Good to see you. And S, yes, this is from yesterday. Oh, Ashes, I responded to your previous comment. Okay, so it wasn't that. And let's see, again on the other side of the board, what are we looking for? Pin 4. So that's okay. Now remember, there's a whole bunch there's 4 of these to test, so we have to kind of go through and do every single damn one. 7.4 volts. Okay, Q3104. 1 and 4. Okay, it's interesting here because we actually have 2 different gate voltages going on, but that might make sense. So basically we've got HV gate 1 and gate 2, and one of them is the 11 volts, the other one was 8 volts. So I don't know if that's actually what it's meant to be in this state. Serious? Yeah, 1 and 8 volts. Times like this you need a working board. Good luck to me on that one. Okay, and at this point though we should have PPDC in G3 hot. Pretty much appearing everywhere here. Okay, so we've got the 5 volts, which is kind of what we expected. Barry, it is a divided line. I'm just sort of wondering, I'm suspecting maybe, this is what they're N channels, so they both have to be higher than their source. Sorry, yeah, higher than their source. So, given that one has to be higher than the other, it kind of makes sense. Check the 3 caps on that line. In the video, they suggested most times one tends to be short. Which line are you talking about, AJ? I'm going to need a actual what do you call it, an actual part number, or what, you're talking about these three here? Because they didn't seem shorted to me, although I wouldn't have had voltage on them if they were. And the other thing is, if it was short, it's a little unusual that we actually get a guaranteed startup from cold. So it's kind of throwing that out a little bit. The line coming out at Q3100, okay. So PPDC and G3 hot. Yeah, I definitely would not be having a short on there because I am getting 5 volts on that and it's holding steady. So it can't be that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that the fault isn't with the CD3215s. Drill out suspected faulty component. Oh boy. Actually, what did I want to check? I wanted to check this section here, which is kind of like our 3V42 section. I'm kind of wondering whether there's something amiss around here. It'd be a little weird, but then again, weird seems to be what we're doing today. So on pin 3 we want, right, the 20 volts or the 8 volts. So it'll probably be the 8 in this instance. Okay, 4.8. Well, I suppose that kind of makes sense. That's actually interesting because that is quite a bit lower than I would expect. Could I have a bad U7000? Hey, Aruna. Hey, Luke Davis. U7000 P in as opposed to P out. 5.186. Oh, okay, I know what's going on. Although I wouldn't have thought that it would drop that much. Okay, basically what I'm thinking is that we're losing a bit of voltage through these diodes here. But the trouble is that I'm fairly sure they're Schottky diodes, even though they're not marked as that. I'll check the resistance of that line, resistor to make sure they haven't gone high for some reason. So we got 2.2. We've seen that happen often enough. Let's see. Okay, 2.48, so that's well within. We've got to consider there's a bit of resistance in the leads and the tips. And that's again also perfectly fine. Yeah, Runa, this is basically what I'm dealing with. Okay, power in's good. I don't seem to have a 7075. Okay. That must have come from a different board. Let's check that we are getting our voltage out here. L6900. We should be getting what? 3V3. Oh shoot. Yep. Let's measure resistance while it's active. That's brilliant. Okay. Notice how it's jumping? I'm kind of curious whether that's me or something else, but that's jumping a little more than it should, in my opinion. I'm just going to clean my tips. And just double check that. But yeah, that's jumping a little more than I would expect. It could have just been the multimeter tips. Looks like it might have just been that. Three, four. We'll restart it just in case. No, rock steady. Okay, next step. Do we have enable? We do have enable. I think you're in the right spot when you first started testing. How do you mean, Barry? For which bit? SMC wake. SMC is being told to wake up. Okay, there's a little inductor in there somewhere. Oh yeah, I see the inductor. Don't short out the streams. 341. 341, so that's got continuity. Looks like 6915 doesn't exist. Damn it. 6923, we'll try that. First testing using multimeter with a low voltage. You mean with the Q3100? Or whatever it was. 6920. I just realised there's a... What? Oh, it's sneaky. Okay. I didn't realise. I thought that this resistor and this resistor made the inputs, but they're not. It's actually this one here is the 0. 5186. 5185. Yeah, that's okay. So like, okay, we've got 0.24 there. That's interesting. And 0.24 there. So PV bus G3 hot is 0.24. It's almost like we lost that. I could have sworn that was at 5 volts before. Could have really sworn that was 5 volts before. No, 0.2. That's an unusual value, 0.2. It's not something you'd normally expect. So do we have the enable for that? I just realized there's a flippin' fault in my code here. I was wondering why I couldn't see half the things I wanted to see. Okay. I'm gonna have to do some code editing here. Okay, Jivim. Hmm. I think I might have a parsing fault. Nope, I just made it worse. Okay, that's weird. I definitely have a parsing fault there. Seems like it doesn't like the leading white space. Yeah, that's more like it. That's what it should have been. Okay. Late night fun and games. Okay, 6903 pin 10. That's PM enable. Okay, that is the one that I was just testing. That's basically tells it to enable. So I'm pretty sure, given that we were getting that line, yeah, 5 volts, that's fine. G3 hot. 3v3. Okay, so that's pretty much what we want. Sorry, I'm not showing the full setup, but you'll get the idea. Okay, what am I after? I'm 1.2 on that, and I am getting 1.2. And there's a... Where are you, test pad? There you are. We want 3 volts on that. 299.8, that's pretty good. Hey, Pianov. Oh, Pianov, I encoded in the that sequence diagram, put it into some open board data, and now I'm just going through the sequence, see if we can have any luck. Let's see. S clock. Let's see, third bottom. So 1, 2, 3. Augmented reality would be very nice on this. Okay, we don't have a... Yeah, that clock doesn't look good. That should be... Wait, have I got the right one? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's actually pretty low. And so is that line there. What is that? Yeah, that's the... Looking at this, the SMC clock. We should at least get 1.5 or something like that for you. What about the data line? Third from the end. 2, 3. Okay, so the power seems to be cycling, but I don't know whether that's maybe it's clocking it. So we'll bring out the scope and see if we can see any activity on that line, or whether it's just dead. So bringing out the scope for a change in life. Unfortunately, I do not have a suitable OBS interface for the scope as yet, so you're just going to have to believe me if I tell you something's happening. I know, it's hard to believe anybody. I wouldn't believe me either. U5000 SMC, yeah. So yeah, it's a little weird that it's dipping up and down like that, which means maybe power to it's dipping up and down. But I want to see whether it's actually just bursting data down that line, or whether it's just steady. If it's steady, then yeah, it's kind of a problem. Of course, naturally, the thing I hate about this scenario is that I haven't got a common ground tied up here. Anyway, come on, hurry up and boot. Okay, it's running. Crikey, I can't remember which one it was now. Second to into you. Oh, they're nasty. Okay, what about the clock line? Clock line is this. I ain't got no clock line, I just got ringing. So something's definitely not healthy there. Question is why? I guess we'll start checking the power to the SMC itself. Let's see if it's getting consistent power or whether something cray-cray is happening there. If it's a proper clock line, you'd expect, if it's square clock sort of thing, you'd expect if it's a 3.3 peak or 3 volt peak, then your meter ideally will average it out to 1.5. But this 1.3 business doesn't seem at all right. 0.13 rather. Let's put that over to the side. Scopes are lovely things, but they're incredibly inconvenient. If I'm looking on the scope, then probably would be square wave because it is I2C line, or is it SPI? Anyway, it would be a square. Just on the clock line should be just square. Yeah. I mean, it really depends on how they're driving it, though. I'm not sure how they're doing on this. Sometimes the master chip can just only clock it when they want to. Other times they just keep it free running. Depends on the design. And Pernov will be able to tell you what it is in this particular one, not me. Okay, so we're going to look at SMC stuff now. Okay, we did get 1.2 on SMC VDD. We did get 3 volts on SMC AV ref. So yeah, I'm a little stumped about that one. Let's have a look at the SMC area. Is that a bit of junk there? Meh. Am I looking at the SMC? No, is that? Right, that's the SMC. I was going to say, it's like, that seemed like a different chip. Similar looking, but no, that's our SMC there, the 980 YFE. Is that a little pit in that capacitor? No, just a piece of junk. Not sure, but it's not supposed to be low anyway. Right. There you go. So, yeah. Well, that'll explain because when we looked at PP bus G3 height, it was down at 0.23. So that kind of makes sense. The question is, why are we not getting that then? But yeah, you're right about SM bus 4. Shreve not at the moment, no. I haven't tied together OpenBoard view with OpenBoardData yet. Sorry. And I got you the first time. Don't need to repeat. You can code in, you can go ahead and code it in if you like. I mean, that's the power of open source. You can always go and code it in yourself. Because we'll probably take 6 months to we'll take 6 months to accept the PR, but that's also the way it goes. It's a fair bit of work to do the OpenBoardData integration at this point. So I'm just looking at, what am I? Here we go, 2 and 4. For some reason I couldn't find SM bus 4. There we go. 5320. way too zoomed in. It's going to be one gnarly little resistor or something, or a capacitor with a chewed out pad somewhere on it. I'm pretty almost certain it's going to be something like that. You watch, it's going to be nothing like that, but we're going to keep trying. The reason why we're persisting with this and not just giving up and saying, right, that's it, this is a, what do you call it? This is a no-fix board, is because we're learning on the job here, so to speak. We're trying to get a little more familiar with the whole process. Hey, Hathra. Okay, so we've got 3.2 there. And that is our PP3v3 G3 hot. So if you look at 5320, which should be the last one up here. Okay, 1.3. What? Something going to miss here. Something I'm missing. Okay. 5320. Let's do the all-in so we can all watch. Bottom of it. Last one. That should be... Okay, so that's 3V. Let's keep an eye on that, see if that dies. You're not gonna die? You're gonna die? You're gonna die? It is a little low, to be honest. It should be 3v3, not 321. But it's shorted there. It's basically 0 there. Okay, so we've got something dragging that line down. Other than that, there's no power getting to it. Let's try over here. Or I'm misreading the schematic or the board view. 3.2, 0. So that's, yeah, something's dragging that down. I don't know what. Look at 5321. Let's see if we get the same thing there. So it could be the SMC at fault. We've got our 3 volts. And 0.13, so that's not great either. So something, in which case it could be one of the controllers, one of the CD3215s is pulling it down. That would be my guess. The main reason I'm sort of going for that over the SMC is that I would imagine if the SMC is shorting those lines to ground, then yeah, I'm just not believing that it would do that. Hey, I mean, I can be wrong. Often am. You make guesses and you often get it wrong. So one of those chips is misbehaving. One way you could tell is you measure the resistance. I wish I had a 4-wire set up here. Measure the resistance at each of the chips and see how close it is to ground. And we'll use the meter's lowest range, which is 500 ohms. And whichever one has the lowest resistance could be it. You can pull RB241 and R3041. RB241, what's that? RB241. Oh, right, they're interconnect. Oh, they're just linking. Interesting, they're 33 ohms. that's kind of peculiar. Clock data, UPCT, data clock. I'm going to have to put my brain into that one a bit more, Pianov. You won't get a voltage drop because the whole net's... I mean, yeah, you could do it using the voltage drop, but resistance at least is passive and can wait a bit. Like you can sit around and... I'm just going over this piece of paper and looking at things. Okay, I see here, like... It's funny, it's almost impossible to read like this, but when you step away from it, you can actually read it. It's kind of funny. 3041, 3042. Well, I'm going to start with my resistance method because I'm a rebel. So 3042. Actually, to be fair, you know, I'm not really a big fan of the rebels. Sort of understand the Empire a little better. Rebels can go suck it. It's going to cause an outcry. Oops. Okay, the only thing is we do need to have a common ground point. That's going to be a nuisance. What? Don't mind me, I'm just trying to work out something. It's interesting, I'm actually getting an open circuit on that, which is not what I would be expecting. Darth Daniels, that kind of sounds dumb. 3042. No, I don't know much about Star Trek either. I think proof of the fact that I don't know much about Star Trek is the fact that I don't mind the new series. I will admit, though, that Season 3 of the new series has started out there just a little bit too... how can I say? A little bit... I can't even think of the word to describe it, but it's like, dial it back a bit, folks, dial it back a bit. I'm probably going to be hated for that, but yeah, dial it back a bit. Okay, 33 is good. 40. It's free. Okay, what is my resistance to ground at that point? I don't get it. I'm getting an overload. Okay, let's put it into auto ranging. As much as I hate auto range is such a pain. Okay, yeah, half a meg. That's so the fact that it's getting dragged down to nearly 0 volts, even though it's half a meg, means something is actively switching it down, or like, you know, a MOSFET's bringing it down. It's not a passive. Damn. I'm trying to think how I could do this. Could I could pull the CD3215s and then see when that clock and data line comes back up. I mean, it seems like a reasonable assumption. Pernov, what do you reckon? Pull the resistors, don't waste your time. Yeah, you know fun, Pernov, aren't you? RB241. Second last. That is the first time we've actually powered up the hot air tonight. Yeah, I did measure all the LDOs. Blimmin' people and their alarms. Well, we got our 3.4 back. So 3.41, 3.41. Okay, so disconnecting that RB241 got us our 341 back. Why do you say overload? Okay, I don't know what this multimeter is doing, but basically if I try to measure the resistance to ground on that, I basically am getting open circuit, which maybe that is correct. Funny enough, that one goes to the two that were looking good on the other side. The two that we have not changed. These two. The UB series. The resistor value, well, I mean, we'll do that. But I was actually measuring the resistance to ground from this pad here, which is... yeah. So 33 ohms is right for that. Did we miss something obvious over here? Were we chasing the wrong goose? Maybe I am the goose. Irony? Is it really irony? No scope view, my apologies. I'll be honest, it's not the first time I have had the opposing chips at fault to where the damage is. Hey, where'd they stick that cat? Damn bastards. Okay, that seems a little low. Yeah, I'd expect that to be 1.8. It is 1.8. What did I just measure then? Just a bit of junk on the damn thing. Yeah, more coppery than iron ring. Alright, well, let's go through and we'll use the solutions for the UB300 and UB400. Do note that I actually still have that clock line, that resistor disconnected. But I don't think it's going to play a part at this point because the audios and things like that should still be coming up as far as I can gather. Okay, so 5 volts down here. You got to be joking me. You're not going to give me 5 volts there? What about... It'd be funny if that was it. Right up here, 5 volts. No volts. What about here? No volts. Okay. 0.1. 4 volts. What the hell have we got here? Shoot. Damn it. When I turn my head, my probe slips. Volts. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, I know why we're probably not getting the 5 volts because I'm in the wrong port. Let me guess. If I plug it into the next port up, it's going to give me the 5 volts now. Yeah, there we go. So that's what it was. It was just... Okay. So we've got to make sure that we're plugged into the right place before we can actually get the voltages. Come in, okay, 4.5. Mark Bianco, thank you very much. And Pernov now just tells me that. Thanks to the stream. Wondering, what is the ratio male-female? I think I have about a 6 or 7% female viewership. How legit that is, I really couldn't tell you. Okay, 3-1, we're good. 1-8. Yep. 1-8. Yep. 1-1. Yep. Yep. Okay, it's UB300 done. Now do UB400. I know it seems like you probably should get that by default, but hey, stranger things are happening in my life. 3-1. Actually, that was a little low. Stop scratching the cap. Oh, stop scratching the cap. That's it. I'm gonna lose my nana. Okay, 3-1. That's actually a little low. Pretty sure if we go back to the other one, it was 3-3. Nope, I'm wrong. They're all 3-1-8. Okay, my bad. It's peaceful here, is it? Huh. Well, I'm glad you find it peaceful. So you haven't tried it. And now that's now it's 337. This thing is genuinely giving me heart tremors. Am I... Which one am I testing? I'm testing the wrong one. Am I? No. Yes, I am. Okay. And I just realized there is this test point here anyway. 318, 319. Okay, 1V8. Easy to use the test points. 1V8. Here. 1V8. 1v1, third one in. Okay, we don't have 1v1. We are missing 1v1. Oh, there, or I'm not pressing it. Yep, we do not have 1v1, so there we go. So we're gonna blame this one, I take it. Now we'll put that resistor back, I think, before I forget. Vintage hard drives. Yeah, my first hard drive was a Seagate ST225. It was a 20 megabyte MFM drives. It was a nice sound first thing in the morning. Yeah, you wake up, and before you even go out of your room to go pee for the morning, you'd flick that big old switch, the big clack sound, and then you'd hear your hard drive spinning up, and then hear the heads get released from their parking spot, and that was good stuff. You go out, make your coffee, come back. You saw it jump to 1v9. It shouldn't have gone to 1v9 either. It should have just been just 1v1. It's not currently on auto range. It's on fixed range of, yeah. There is a bit of fluff there, but I'm not sure we can blame that. But that definitely, no matter how much I chewed it, it was at 0 volts. Hey Arnold G. I say it's probably the best hint we've had so far, so let's go for it, eh? Let's go full microscope view. What material is the lead-colored blanket that is underneath the motherboard? It's actually two things. It is just a normal cooking silicon mat, and then underneath that is a self-healing, it's not really self-healing, but you know, one of those self-healing cutting art maps, art pads. What'd you have? Your NEC V20 CPU. The V20s were good. I had the rare chance to also use a V30 one at one point, which was a nice chip, but it sort of came out a little bit late, didn't really get the market penetration for the 286 sort of took everything. And then the 286 itself wasn't really, the 286 was a bit of a Vista chip, and once the 386 came along, that was it, we were on our way. I do have a soft spot for the 386SX. I thought that was a nice little cheap chip. Yeah, what I really should have done is actually measure the resistance on that rail. I was just so excited. Just can't hide it. Well, it's definitely not a short, at least from the board perspective. Where the hell's my solder gone? Damn it. Ream off some more. Hey Solaris, 2 tank caps exploded in your face. That is not nice. 2 tank caps? No thanks. The purple flash and the terrible smell. That's a big fat no thanks for me. Yeah, that chip had to get blown away anyway. The 486SX, yeah, that was a bit of a flunky. Certainly the DX was the win. And of course that is about when we all started putting heat sinks on our processors. And it just got crazier from there. And then of course you get the beautiful DX. I love how they made the DX4, but it was actually really a multiplied by 3. And you get the 75 and, you know, the 100 megahertz or whatever. And then you had the competitor ones that were coming out from the likes of AMD and Cyrix. Alright, so we need to gather ourselves some wits and some parts. You got a Cyrix 5x86 120 megahertz socket through. Yeah, didn't see many of those. Okay, one of these is good and the other one isn't. It's like playing Sesame Street right now. One of these chips is not like the other. Except it's pretty hard because it's 50-50, so we don't really know. I'm looking for that one that had that internal board defect. Doesn't look like that one. That's it. That's the internal defect one. And we're gonna have to reball this boy. Yeah, the Pentium with the FIV, what was that, the P4, I can't remember which iteration it was. That's the FDiv bug. That was the least of the Pentium's worries at that point. It's sad because the Pentium 233 MMX was a really nice chip. And then they just went crazy with the super long pipeline architectures. I mean, I guess it was a gamble. They had to take a gamble, but it certainly didn't pay off. And I love the way that they just thought, well, we'll strap two of them together and we'll call it the Pentium D. And that was just terrible. It was made an excellent winter heater, I'll give it that. And at that time I was mostly sticking to things like the AMD 248 Opterons. The Opteron, on the other hand, was a beautiful chip. Absolutely beautiful chip. .3D now, oh yeah. Anyone remember the diamond graphics cards? Mind you, that was certainly much further back. S3 graphics cards, they were pretty good. I know everybody really liked the Seng ET4000s, but I was actually really pretty damn happy. Was it the Seng ET4000? Who was it, the ET4000? But yeah, when the S3s came out, it was like, yep, I didn't need to bother with any other graphics cards for a long time. Until, of course, we got the TNT. You still got a Diamond V550. Holy dooly. Does it still work? That's quite impressive that you still got that. But yeah, definitely of the historical type things, not that it is that old, but I suppose I'm showing my age there by saying that, but yeah, the Opteron chips, things like the geez, this is dry paste. This is not the right kind of paste for what I'm doing here, but I'm going to do it because I'm a sadomastic. Yeah, I got a sadomastic streak in me, so we're going to do it anyway. That was way too dry. That was like SMC hopeful dry. But yeah, the Opteron, it was a chip that just worked very well, scaled under load very well. I had a hard time faulting it. I didn't even try after. I just sort of said, nope, I'll take this chip. And of course, Sun made really nice systems around it. Sun Microsystems. Sad that they collapsed and died. Normally you don't have trouble getting this out. Just give it a smack of heat. Ow. I think it's easier to get my finger out of the way then. Toothbrush. Hey DC. See, John Anathasil had an 8086 CPU with the 87 Mathco Pro, my XT clone, 20 megawatt MFM, so ST255 probably. $500 in the 90s for it. Yeah, I ended up getting an IIT Co-Pro for mine. I couldn't afford the genuine Intel one, so I had to get an IIT. And it was very impressive, the speed difference it made with my ray tracing back then. This would have been my third year university, and we had to write our own ray tracers and our own 3D object manipulation system, all sorts of stuff like that. It was great fun. And we had to have the different shaders built in, so we had to have like a Phong shader and a garage shader. Definitely, I mean, it's all the stuff that everybody just considers of built in. No one even thinks about whether you're using a Phong or garage or ray traced system anymore. Not much anyway. It's just like, whatever the heck that OpenGL or DX11 or 12, whatever it is now, users will use that, which is great. Yeah, it's good when you can not have to worry about the internal workings. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to go. You're supposed to progressively move up the scale, sort of thing. We don't have to worry about the logic gates involved in these chips. We just grab the chip. It's got a couple of 100,000 gates in it. Still got a dual Opteron MSI board somewhere. I didn't even know they made one. Yeah, all my Opteron stuff was Sun gear, V20Z, 1U servers, things like that. Damn it! I'm not feeling this. I'm scratching it. We'll see how that goes. Worst case scenario, we reball it. Yeah, I see ray tracing is a big deal. I guess it's gotten to the point now where the cards are so fast and they've got enough memory to hold the entire world, as it were, in memory. So they can just do it on the fly. There doesn't even have to be any chit-chat back and forth to the CPU or the RAM. Just like load up your world into the graphics memory, and I've got way too much flux on that. You can see how it's bubbling away there. If I'm not careful, that's going to just run off. Blimey, that was a big jump. I got a feeling it's going to go back that way, up to I don't know if it's the light or my paranoia, but I could swear that's not lined up right. Not that you got much chance of seeing it. It's not like some SMC or TriStar where you have half a chance of looking under the balls. There was a bit of a nasty jump. Well, let's see how we go, shall we? There's a Soundblood, the Vibra 16. The Vibra 16 and the Vibra 128 was sort of like the first cards that finally just worked. And then by that time, motherboards were just installing the sound chipsets by default. Okay, we're up to 20 volts, 1 amp. $20 volts. We got it. That was it. Well, that represents yet another case where the corrosion damage is on this side, the chip that dies is on this side. It's a crack up. Like I said, it's not the first time I've had that. Now, the only reason why I found it the last time is because the damage that was in the chip was enough to actually make it heat up. So when I plugged in the power, it got hot. It was pretty obvious. I could see it. So there you go. The FlexBoard View stuff combined with the persistence of Pernov and yeah, basically the digitizing of this sequence, we actually got there. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Oh, that one's been plaguing me, and this is why I persisted, because now I know a little more. Only a little more, not a lot. Just a little. But there was definitely damage I had to repair there anyway. But like I said, it's not the first time I've had it where corrosion one side, dead on the other. Okay, I'm just going to put the heat sinks back on. Spooky action at a distance. That sounds good. Hey, Greg. You been talking, Greg, or have I just not been hearing you? Yeah, I wish I can get ice cream. I'm sad I can't have ice cream. It makes my liver hurt too much. Okay. It's not a massive amount of pain, but between my liver and my kidneys, it just... something in the ice cream doesn't agree with them completely. I can probably get away with 2 or 3 nights of eating it, and then after that, it starts to get cranky. I think it might be the fructose. I probably abused my ability to process fructose for too many years. This is not a permanent... well, it's just so I can test it and have a bit of confidence that I'm not going to burn something out. Virtual ice cream. And the trouble is I can't even switch to like sorbet. No, forget it. You know what I'm talking about. I can't even switch to that because that also will have fructose all through it. Gecko thinks it's hilarious. Okay, where the hell's my T5? No, it's not lactose. It's not that kind of upset. Fructose intolerance is basically what happens is that your liver enzymes or your body doesn't metabolize it properly, and it just turns it into something else that it's not happy with. It just takes a long time to get out of your system, and in the time that it's there, it causes secondary damage. I don't know exactly what it turns into. I haven't looked at the biochemical pathways. I just know that for people who have a moderately weak ability to metabolize fructose, it does tend to have a bit of a nasty effect. Custard and stewed fruit. Yeah, I mean, I do like that, but then again, the stewed fruit might... Yeah, I do love that sort of thing. I love my cream. So maybe I'll just have to freeze tubs of cream. Let's see, Nusacat, you're lactose intolerant. Problem as a kid, I can imagine, yeah. Who doesn't like chocolate, Catherine? What? Hernia? No, not hernia. It's brain freeze. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to find this thing. Let's see. Fructose. Fructose intolerance. Fructose, I shouldn't say trose, it's fructose. Can't break down, monosaccharide, blah blah blah. Yeah, they're giving it for other things, but for me it's something else that's causing it. None of the symptoms here are, it's a different kind of thing. It's something to do with the liver, an enzyme in the liver that doesn't get generated properly. Sugar, brown sugar, I eat that all the time. I don't have white sugar. White sugar feels like death to me. Honestly, yeah, if you hand me a couple of satchels of white sugar, I'll look at you as if like, what, you just want me to... It'd be just easier if I just slit my own throat right now. Huh? Is that what you want from me? You want me to die? You want me to bleed? Yeah, I'm not a fan of white sugar at all. In case you didn't notice. Well, it's subjective when you say sort of processed versus white. I mean, there's sort of like mostly white in the sense of, yeah, they're just... And then there's pure white. Okay, this is stuck. I think the most devastating effect I felt once was when my wife gave me, or Alita gave me, icing sugar with lemon juice. And for some reason that combination just destroyed me. Can you still eat those? I eat the natural brand ones. Doesn't mean they're actually natural, just that's the brand, natural something. Those ones I do eat, and so long as I don't have too many of them, I'm good and fine. I think the problem with ice cream is the fact that, yeah, you buy 2 tubs of it, and that means you're going to be eating it over the course of quite a few days. Damn it. So there's a bit of a chronic build-up effect. Whereas snakes tend to be done and dusted in 24 hours, particularly around here. And you don't go and get 3 or 4 packets of snakes. It's more like I get 1 packet of snakes every couple of months, maybe Halloween. And that's pretty much it. I'm kind of curious as to why that chip worked from cold. Because I honestly was expecting some kind of capacitor not having a, yeah, not getting discharged, floating capacitor, something like that. But I was wrong. I was wrong. Thank you, Dr. Cox. Do you eat ghee? No, I don't. but I do eat just butter. I do not have margarine or anything like that, just butter. The less processed, the better. So butter is good for me. I'm not telling you guys what you should do, I'm just telling you what I do. Get in. Damn it, get in already. Nah, doesn't want to go in. Alita, her first attempt at poisoning me was actually, I think it was our first year of marriage. And she put, what did she do? She put some kind of artificial sweetener in my coffee. And that pretty much nearly ended our marriage right there and then. But she understood what she had done and never did it again. It was like, how dare you contaminate my coffee with that stuff. To be fair, she was just trying to be a good wife, looking out for her husband, trying to see if, make sure he's healthy. But that one kind of missed the mark a little bit, and more to the point, the fact that anyone would think that you wouldn't notice the taste difference. So you know the taste difference. Stevia, I actually chased stevia myself. I tried it out, and stevia is a funny one because while you're consuming it, you do taste that intense sweetness, but then as soon as you stop, once it's gone off your tongue, the sweetness, you're left with that weird taste. So if they could find a way to fix the aftertaste of stevia, then they'd be on a winner. Chicken dinner. Thank you, Dave Jones. Alright, this is probably going to have personal information, so we're going to stick the protector there. She meant well, exactly, that's right, Catherine. She did mean well, and we sorted that out. And it's never happened again since, but I do make sure that I remind her of that. Why am I not getting anything there? Okay. Yeah, just every now and then remind her of, remember the time, Marge? You had that gambling problem? Mixing Coke with Johnny Walker Blue. What the hell's wrong with that? I can't see any problem with that. Alright, I know what you mean when you say Johnny Walker Blue. Yay, we got an Apple logo. Okay. Win. Wow. We got there in the end. Now the fun thing is, this is where it gets really fun. This came in as it was already really working, but the problem they were having is that the battery had a crossed out symbol on it. So we're still there, so I'm going to plug the battery in and see if things have improved. So we haven't really gained anything. The fact that it was permanently shutting down on me was more of a case of the job arrived and became worse than what it originally was stated to be. And so I've now, only just now, gotten back to status with what the original ticket said. Damn it. Someone dissing pineapple on the pizza out there. Pineapple on pizza is a masterful touch, beautifully refreshing. Not all pizzas, but I'd say one of my favorite combinations is you basically start out with something like a Hawaiian, and then you add olives to it. Hawaiian and olives, I like that. I do like that bit of bitterness from the olives. And righto. Let's see if we actually get something here. Might see if I can boot. I can't always boot from my stick because of the fact that the security protocols on these machines sort of say nay. So I might have to actually... Oh, here we go. Yep, Yummy Steak does not like that kind of pizza. Sorry, Yummy Steak. Yeah, there's always got to be at least one item between people that could cause them to completely hate each other, and that is that item. I seem to have a problem with that one port, potentially. Now, it seems like this top port here, it could just be a bad connector, or it could be something else. Battery is running. Alright, fine, we'll do it that way then. Peanuts on pizza. Yeah, alright. People are really digging in. Okay, so we're at 0% on the battery charge, which means now we're going to sit here and talk about pointless things until I see at least 1% come up. Pepperoni pizza is yummy, but I find it a little monotonous, and you need something to cut through that fat. Alright, did that just die on me? It's constantly restarting. Damn it, still got issues, eh? Hey, Christian Lemma. We are watching it because we are watching it. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. It seems to be looping, and I don't like that. I don't know whether I've got a bad cable connection. Yeah, the actual... come to think of it, it could be that, because that's the corroded side. Cheap place to buy replacement boards. Pfft. AliExpress is your best chance. Purple shiny rectangular power chip. You mean the 9239 or whatever it is? I think the connector's bad. I think it's got corrosion on it. I'm going to have to show it. These ones. Because the one that's in there is the original one, and that's the corrosion side. So I'm guessing that it's a bit dodgy. Hey, it's House of Moth. How's it going? Bacon and banana pizza. That's pretty cool. Especially if you've got a hangover. With the American pizzas, I find it interesting how you get to have these whopping great big slices. You know, they're still a wedge, but it's pretty much the size of a pizza that we'd get here. They always seem so flaccid. Is that the right word? Yes. Yeah, there's no life in those pizzas. They're just... It's like cheese, flat cheese, and wanting to die dough. There doesn't seem to be any real life. And I mean, I know genuine Italian type pizza is kind of similar to that, but if you do a wood fire version, you know, you get the bit of the crust bubbles up, it's a bit lively. But things like the New York classic type pizza, it just always seems like you're eating floppiness. Yeah, floppy mess, there you go. I am 6 skills. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, genuine, like wood-fired Italian pizza is delightful. We don't get that a lot out here. We get a lot of people who pretend that they're genuine Italian, but you go and eat their food, you know damn well they're not. It doesn't really matter that they may not say be from Sicily or from other regions in Italy. It's just the fact that they're just not, or they don't really have that Italian aspect about it. It was one fortunate thing amongst others when I was over in South Africa is that I went to a great number of Italian restaurants that were genuinely Italian people, and you'd get into trouble half the time for going to competing restaurants, particularly if one of them was Sicilians and the other from some other area. And they're like, why do you go over there? And it's like, oh, I want to try all the food. And they're like, overall, they were, tolerant of each other. Funnily enough, there was, though, a pasta chain store that was next to a genuine Italian restaurant. And the food from the chain store, even though they're supposed to be genuine Italian, they weren't. It was just terrible. It was like you'd order, let's try the classic carbonara. And it was, when you got it, it was just like this slop. It's pretty much too much cream, too much bacon. There's no life in the pasta that was cooked to death. It was just terrible. You get through half of it and you feel like you may as well just eaten a plain potato. It was that bad. But then when I found the other one next to it, which didn't actually advertise as being Italian, but you walk in there and you can tell they're Italian people, it was just spectacular. Fantastic meals out of there. I spent way too much money drinking wine, smoking cigars, eating pizzas, eating pasta, drinking wine, chasing women, spending way too much time there. What was bad is that it was just around the corner from where I worked, and I had a bad habit of working until midnight, going home for 4 hours, sleeping, starting again about 5 or something like that. But when I found this restaurant, then I sort of ended up going home maybe for 2 hours, have an hour and a half sleep, get changed, get back to work. The joys of things you can do when you're in your 20s. South Africa makes the best biltong and boerewors. Well, you better well hope so, since that's where it pretty much came from. It depends on what biltong you want to. I like my biltong soft, slightly pink. Springbok biltong's very nice, but around here we pretty much only get beef biltong. Chicken biltong I can't stand at all. Yeah. Can you tell me why my new solid-state drive hasn't been shown OS X recovery screen when trying to boot internally? I tried it externally with a SATA cable. Have you tried changing the disk utility so that it shows all devices and not just the ones that are set up? Hey, Paulie Lewis. Mark Bianco, thank you. Have a pizza with all beer and hot wings for me. I don't mind some hot wings. I can't have too many. I'll kind of burn my gut out. Too much genuine Indian food. What the hell just happened then? Yeah, too much genuine Indian food. That's the other thing. With South Africa, you can get genuine French, genuine Indian, genuine Italian, pretty much anything you want. Genuine Afrikaans food. You don't have to go out for that. You just have a braai in your backyard and that's it. Someone will bring a potjie. Someone will bring a roll of boerewors. It was all set up for you. Pap and sauce. Oh, I missed that. It's not the same as grip. It's similar, but I don't know how they do it. But something about the way they make sauce over there. I just stuffed myself silly with it. It'd always be a bit of an entree to the braai, so you'd get there and there'd be pap and sauce available. For people who don't know what that is, it's basically cornmeal mash kind of thing. It's not cornbread, but I'd just like shovel that stuff into my bowl and go off to a corner, find a nice comfy chair because you know you're going to get plastered over the next couple of hours because you've got nothing better to do but wait for that potjie to cook. And God help you if you touch that potjie and mess with its contents, you'll get thrown out of the braai. The trick with the potjie is to just keep layering it up, maybe get to stir it depending on the particular one you're doing. But if you keep cracking it open, lifting that lid and stirring it, you're going to get kicked out of there super fast. And of course for me, I'd sit back in the chair and I'd start drinking my Hunter's apple cider. And that was it until about 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah, it's pretty much like grits, I guess. But the sauce that they'll put it, the sauce, poppin' sauce, is the key. Yeah, if you said to me you can only have a vegetarian meal, then poppin' sauce would probably be it. Hey, ITC. Fusion curries. Okay, curry pizza, I can sort of see that. You can do that, like a chicken curry pizza. Okay, so what I've just done while I was waffling on about boring history of my life, I've plugged in a known good USB-C connector. I've left this one off because I suspect it may be faulty. And we're going to connect the battery up again. Take your grits with brown sugar and maple syrup. Yeah, see, I can't do that. I can see how that would work, but for me I sort of see it more as a savoury. But I guess that's the power of, cornmeal sort of thing. You can turn around and make it into whatever you like. Savoury, sweet, boring, interesting. Paneer tandoori pizza. Man, that... Tandoori though? Yeah. Not vindaloo or anything like that. At least if you go vindaloo, it'd cook itself. Let's see if we can catch this in time. Wasabi on a pizza? I have not. No. I do like my sushi. Okay, yeah, it might have been a bad port because this one's coming up good and fine. Guess we'll have to see. Anything pizza needs is chili and garlic. And you can even drop the chili, as long as it's got garlic. Andrew Hughes, I prefer Madras to Vindaloo. Okay, but you find it more wholesome flavour. I'm not really any more into the super hot stuff. When I was younger, I did. I think the hottest I ever had was something from Papua New Guinea that I can't even remember what I was having. But it was... I kept badgering the place that I was going to. This is actually in Brisbane, funnily enough. Something like the Three Monkeys restaurant in West End, Brisbane. I don't know if it really was that name, but it sounded similar. And I said to him, this is just not hot enough. Anyway, they got something in from Papua New Guinea for me. And all I remember is just dipping the end of my chip, nacho chip or whatever, just into the residue oil and sauce of this new hot stuff that they gave me. And I don't remember much after that. It was extremely, extremely good. But it was also extremely distressing the next day for everybody in the house. I moved out of there pretty quick after that. For Italians, funny to see people eating pizza with a fork. Who does that? And more flavour in a madras. Okay. We've got a pretty good family Indian restaurant here in town. I'll be honest, all we've been having is just tandoori chicken. It's a dry sort of tandoori chicken. I could go for something higher, but honestly, these days, I'm not overly compelled to. I do wish they'd do a curry chicken samosa though. That would be nice. Okay, we've got a screen defect here. I'm not sure what's causing that. We are charging. We're now at 1%. Nando's Peri Peri with extra hot. I see that brought out the extra hot. I always found Nando's Peri Peri extra hot was perfectly good. It was these days I mostly just sit on hot. But my inauguration into South Africa was that they took me down to Nando's on the night that I got there. and they got me an extra hot peri-peri chicken, and I had to eat that. So, and I was fine with it. It was great. It was hot and beautifully delicious, and that was my introduction to Nando's. That was back in '96. And so, yeah, Nando's was just like a daily meal for me after that. So it was very sad when I came back to Australia, and of course at that point we didn't have a Nando's. I think we might have had one down in Sydney, but it was a long time before we got Nando's up here. This is charging beautifully. It's working. I think we're all good. There may be, like I said, some corrosion on the connector that's down here. We'll just replace that, probably with this one. And I think we'll be hunky-dory. And we're charging at quite a rate. We're up to 4% already. Yeah, it really does depend on the individuals, doesn't it? And it's always sad if the place that you really like closes down. We had that with the pizza place here. It wasn't like a genuine Italian pizza. It was some more like classic Pizza Hut kind of style. But they did an exceptionally good job with it. Full of flavor, didn't bog you down, didn't make you feel like you're going to die of toxic syndrome the next day. Well priced, not too much topping, not sparse. Everything was just really good, and it was a good family that was doing it, and they had to move away, so they sold the business. And in less than a week, their patronage basically went from full every night to empty. And they even took the time to guide the new owners through, this is how we do it, this is the way we've got it all set up, this is where we get our ingredients from, this is what we use. But yeah, within a couple of days of them leaving out of town, the new owners, they changed the ingredients, they changed the top, they just did everything wrong, and they lost everybody. They closed up in about 2 months later, and I'm not surprised. I mean, they basically destroyed that business. And to date, no one has been able to match that family that was here in terms of the quality of the pizza. There's some okay, but no one's been able to match it. Like I said, it wasn't traditional, genuine Italian style sort of thing, but it was more your Pizza Hut type situation. But they did it very well. Crazy J, you're winning today. Yes, I am. Yesterday I placed 3 SMCs, all faulty from donor fault. Yeah, that sucks when you get a faulty donor. Let's see, AJ, we used to have an amazing Thai place in Castle Hill. Oh, you're in New South Wales, right. Funnily enough, we have Castle Hill in Townsville. It's the major landmark in Townsville. There's almost a mountain popping out of the middle of the city. Main thing I remember about Castle Hill is there was a hobby store there, Castle Hill Hobbies, and they had some great stuff, but the internet kind of killed them. Let's see. They were always deserted, so they do not last long. Unsurprised, not many Thai. Particularly if it's genuine Thai food. A lot of people will go into it and they'll expect something like the sweet MSG laden type Chinese type of thing. I mean, even the Chinese don't eat the food like that. Ants, yes, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:45. If you're ever in Morisset, Paulie's Pizza is amazing. I'm not sure, where's Morisset? Solaris, you were born in Townsville. How old are you, Solaris? What school did you go to? I wasn't born in Townsville. It pretty much is my hometown, as it were. 36. Oh, okay. Alright. Yeah, I left Townsville in 1996. I was there from about 1979. Oh, you moved away at the age of 5. Okay, so you wouldn't, yeah, you wouldn't know. Castle, yeah, like I said, the hobby store was really nice. They had a lot of stuff, but as with most stores like that, they did get killed off by the internet. So yeah, it's just the way business goes. It's sad, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop that kind of progress. Army name. Oh, okay, yeah. So you would have been out like Lavarat Barracks. That's where you would have been. Should make a stream where you're sitting with gin and cigar at a fire. I don't drink gin, but if I'm going to have something, I'd probably have Torquay, which really is not. It's more of a dessert wine than anything else. I'm getting soft, you know. Morrison's on the freeway, about an hour north of Sydney, half an hour south of Newcastle. Haven't those two cities like joined together by now? A bit like Gold Coast and Brisbane. Still get drunk lorikeets? Oh, all the time. All the time. Every summer. They get drunk on the mangoes and things like that. Alright, time for me to go, but hey, thank you very much everybody. We got this one fixed. There was a 3-night process to get that, but like I said, we have to thank the fact that the people who did put in the effort into coming up with this sequence diagram. It is on the WikiHow. What is it? Logi Wiki. Yeah, Logi Wiki. Whatever. So thanks to them doing this, I was able to create the FlexBV OpenBoardData sequence, which made it a hell of a lot easier to go through and just check everything. And then we found the fault without actually having to use our brains, because clearly, given that it was the third night, brains were just not working for us. So we had to resort to using someone else's guide. But we won, and that's what matters. So I'm out of here. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. I have got another board like this. We've got the one that got zapped the other night, and we've got this great big ugly trace on it. So maybe we'll try that tomorrow with the new sequence diagram. The only thing is, I will have to copy that FlexBV sequence, the OpenBoardData sequence, to suit all the networks and parts on this. But that's not a hard job. It's just a bit of search and replace. So we'll see how we go. We might do that tomorrow night. You never know. Until then, you all take care. I'll see you later.